This is an interview with Pat Downey. Pat is an NCAA Division I All-American and a US national champion in freestyle wrestling. He's also a Bellator MMA veteran and is coming into this fresh off his appearance at the Craig Jones Invitational. Pat is now pursuing a career as a full-time professional jiu-jitsu competitor and is currently preparing for his debut appearance at the IBJJF No-Gi World Championships as a blue belt. Hey, Pat. Nice to meet you. Obviously, I think one of the main things that people will be wondering about from your side of things is going to be your appearance next week now at IBJJF No-Gi Worlds. You've entered a blue belt, obviously recent promotion as well. Is that something that you're looking to compete at more often then as the years go by, or is this just a one and done kind of thing to get a bit of experience?
Yeah, thanks for having me on first and foremost, but certainly just an experience because I've never competed at the IBJJF and the timing of me just starting this, formal jiu-jitsu journey and me being a blue belt now and just going through the process of the paperwork and joining, this new federation. I've always been with USA Wrestling for over a decade, so you know, changing over is really cool. And just the experience and learning jujitsu and to show the kind of show the grappling world my skills that has evolved since CJI. Because I've been doing jujitsu full time since then, so I'm pretty excited about the competition.
Nice, and I think that's a good thing to ask as well is where you've been working on jiu-jitsu solely now for quite a while now. Are you sort of planning on, if you don't mind me asking, planning on coming in and relying on more your wrestling background, or are you trying to, play more of a jiu-jitsu style of competing there next week?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to play more of a jiu-jitsu game because this is, from my understanding, the most strict and stringent rule set, especially for American wrestlers going into this specific rule set. So I want to avoid the typical things that I'm known for, which could probably get me DQ'd. Achilles was almost DQ'd, and Wagner told me if that was me doing that stuff, I'd have been DQ'd by them. So it's because he's, Brazilian guy, very well known, one of the best, and they're put a lot of money, flows following him. They're not going to DQ him, even though they almost did. It was talked about for like 20, 30 minutes. And I do stuff like that on the regular, you know what I mean? I'm commenting on Achilles' move that almost got him DQ'd. I'm like, hell yeah, brother, that was sick. And then he's like, he DMs me, he's like, yeah, I almost lost because of this. Don't do this stuff. And I'm like, oh. So I've really had to rewire my grappling instincts and what I know, which is cool. I'm all about it. I love playing the game. Just tell me the rules, and I've been learning the rules. So I have a couple goals. I either want to submit everyone or score the most points that's been scored in this event. So either one would make me happy, and I think if I do those things, I'll get my purple belt too. So that's another incentive.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that is quite cool now with the IBJJF. If you win worlds, you can get promoted automatically. You don't have to wait for the time limit and stuff. So I mean,
Right.
it's quite
So that was
cool.
my understanding. Yeah. So if I figured
Yeah,
what's the best way to fast track, maybe a goal of mine is to become the quickest black belt ever.
yeah, and it's cool as well because obviously now next year, if Nogi Worlds, well, when Nogi Worlds comes around again, if it's something you're interested in doing, you can have like a step up in competition kind of thing.
Yeah, take out the purple, right? I would be purple the next one. Assuming things go according to plan. But there's been a lot of high level wrestlers come into blue belt, and not win. So the fact that everybody is calling me sandbagging, which I have no control over what division the federation puts me in, that's crazy. But also, if I came in as a black belt, they'd be like, he doesn't know any jujitsu. And if I came in as a white belt, he's too good for jujitsu as a white belt. So I get the whole, I don't know, the conversation. I get it.
Yeah, it is tough. It is tough because I think what you do, you're going to be a million times better than anyone else that you step on the mat with. But like you said, it's different rules, different rule set. Things are going to go a little bit differently than they would if it was a straight wrestling match where it'd be easy for you, to be honest with you, wouldn't it? Um, and I think one thing that's interesting is obviously your first sort of experience with jiu-jitsu was quite a while ago now, when you had that match with Gordon Ryan where it was one wrestling match, one jiu-jitsu match. Um, can I
Yeah,
ask,
it's 2020. Yeah.
yeah, and how did that sort of come around, and how come you didn't start taking the sport sort of more seriously back then?
Well, that came just from his competition against Bo Nickel at Third Coast Grappling. I realized I was called out by him after he submitted Bo, and he's like, I'll beat Pat Downey in wrestling tonight. And I was like, you won't. And we just kind of started bantering back and forth. And then we came into an agreed rule set. He was like, you'll freestyle wrestle you after you no limit submission only grapple me. And that was my debut. I didn't do any grappling training or preparation for that because I was on Team USA with, wrestling training, traveling the world, getting ready for the Olympic trials. I just wrestled at the World Championships in North Sultan in Kazakhstan. Like freestyle wrestling, I've been in the active athlete list for over a decade. One of maybe two handfuls of athletes in this country that can say that. So I've been totally committed to freestyle wrestling my whole life. That's the only reason, you know, that I haven't pursued jujitsu, I guess. Is that your real question? Like, yeah, I just haven't. I've never, and then I was kind of canceled from the USA wrestling, and I was forced to go fight to make some money. I didn't wasn't my passion. I wasn't training MMA again. I just, signed with Bellator to get paid, and then because of the circumstances. And now this is an actual passion of mine, and understanding the full game and how this actually transitions into MMA, if that is my goal again. So it just makes sense too with the way they do it as a way to become a pro athlete. Like it's a much more viable career in this grappling too.
Yeah,
It's not like the wrestling. The events aren't like the amateur USA wrestling. Now, for the exception of IBJJF, that's a cash cow, which is just drawing memberships, flights, no money, no prize money to the athletes. They're bringing in a ton of money. They're going to kill it with the event that they're making. It's just like USA wrestling in that regards. But
yeah,
we're talking about like these professional promotions. Like, I'm signing for December 28th with Fury Grappling against either Andre Petrowski or Joe Pfeiffer. So I'm waiting on a bout agreement this afternoon. So I want to compete as often as possible. Pit Submission Series under Karate Combat, December 19th. Me and Ian Dobby want to get after it. Waiting to hear back from Awesome and those guys at Karate Combat and Pit Submission Series. And then I've signed with Polaris February 8th for grappling. North America versus Team Europe. And March 1st, I'm out on the West Coast with Spokane Submission Series, grappling against Duran Win. So I'm trying to compete every month in all of these, flow grappling now. No more flow wrestling, no more USA wrestling, and no more paying to compete, and then having these people profit off of the your name, image, and likeness, and the fans that you generate, and the you know what I mean. It's just yeah, I'm done with it all. So good question, man. It was a long answer, but yeah, it was a lot that led. There's a lot that led into this transition full time. You know what I mean?
yeah. And I think for you specifically, it's something that is quite interesting because, like you said, you were sort of cancelled from USA Wrestling kind of thing. But with Jiu-Jitsu, there isn't really obviously you've got the IBJJF, but there's not really a proper organization that runs everything. So, I mean, no matter what happens between you and one promoter, you've got five, six other opportunities out there. So it's not
Exactly.
something you've got to worry about kind of thing.
Right. My only exclusive deal is with Polaris in the UK, which is like the most respected promotion there. They're on UFC Fight Pass. So I'm more than happy to only compete for them there. But to your point, there's a lot of other promotions. You know what I mean? It's not like Flow Entities, the monopoly. You got all of these. I've already competed against some big names and other ones. You know what I mean? Pedro Marino, Jake Shields, and you know, Gino Morel. I have good wins too. So I think it's kind of funny to not regress because I don't know the level that I'm about to face in Vegas.
Yeah,
But if you look at like the professional grappling I've done, and then I would consider this amateur grappling, IBJJF blue belt division, right? I'm not getting paid either. It's not professional. So I would say, it's going to be interesting just for me to be. I think it's one of the only opportunities I'll have to really be able to use my jujitsu showcase because everybody else that I'm going to be showcasing my skills, it's going to be me kind of using my grappling to anti their jujitsu and show that, I can be on top, not get submitted, pass your guard, and then submit you. Now, whether people want to call that good jujitsu or not, that's up to them. But like, I know the skill set I'm developing to beat the best black belts. You know what I mean? And whether I get to show that at IBJJF in Vegas, I guess that's going to be dependent on the level of competition.
Yeah. No, it's a good point as well that I think coming in at your level, you're in a sort of unique position where you've almost got to kind of skip a lot of the amateur competition that people that start out in jiu-jitsu would have naturally. You know what I mean? You'll get someone that takes up jiu-jitsu as a kid before they even
Yeah,
get to Blue Belt Worlds. They spent 10 years
right.
competing under the rule set, so it's a bit.
Yeah, it's my only opportunity to really do and learn jujitsu and start off. You know what I mean? So, so I'm definitely going to take advantage of it, and I'm excited to see Helen's doing the same. So maybe her. I think Vicky might be competing. Hopefully her ACL. You know, she's coming off of a little injury. I think she's holding up nicely though. So I'd be excited to see some of the other female Team USA wrestling constituents. You know, do some work too because I think there's a big opportunity you know, because they're great athletes, they're good looking, they have big following. That's what jujitsu, any athlete, MMA, wrestling, any single sport, like combat athlete, any just you one on one, you have that package and they're smart, you need more athletes like that that are going to transition and cross over. And I think there's some Brazilians and some grapplers too, some jiu-jitsu players, especially this younger generation the Rotolos and Mika Galvo and Achilles and that can transcend that they could compete and make some of their country's world teams. I think and Brazilian wrestling, freestyle wrestling teams or compete with some Team USA guys. They can wrestle too. We just haven't seen them do it. But I know I've trained with these guys. I know. Give me a few months with some of them. I guarantee you, I could put them on their country's respective world team in wrestling.
Yeah. Is that, can I ask as well for you? You mentioned obviously you spent like a decade or well, more than that competing in wrestling. Um, is it something you're ever looking to go back to in the future, or is this it now, all in on jiu-jitsu?
I've actually said this before that I would only compete in wrestling again if I was like back in the situation I was in where I wrestled for Team USA before with the NJRTC, which is a regional training center. You know what I mean? I had just the proper preparation required. If I really felt like I was properly prepared and because I still believe in my skills any given day, I can go make a world team for sure. I'm definitely one of the best wrestlers. So
Yeah,
it'd be uh it'd be silly to not lace them up again. I just have to, you know what I mean? I just have to have the right conditions at which, you know, they're unique conditions. They have it set as such that it's only a few places to really, you can really make a viable go at the pinnacle of the game. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Talking about world team, Olympic team. I mean, that's the only thing left to accomplish world gold medal. So, to give yourself a feasible shot at that, just realistically, you know what I mean? It's tough to do training with the Brazilians or training in an MMA camp with the Russians. You need a regional training center and a freestyle wrestling circuit.
yeah. And I think for you as well, obviously you've had such a wide-ranging like combat sports career now. You mentioned the MMA fights. Is that something that you've sort of shut the door on now after that?
No, 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 no. That's I definitely want to fight after I get this black belt and compete a year solid grappling. I want to compete every month and get my body really good shape and change. I'm doing some peptides and getting healthy and making sure when I do go back that I'm properly prepared.
Oh, cool. And I think as well, to your point, having like a jiu-jitsu experience and experience just submitting people as well as controlling them and taking them down, that's
Hmm.
that's only going to help your MMA career
Yeah,
in the future as
yeah,
well.
yeah. I want to be like a big Habib. Just take him down, never let him up. Take him down, mat return him, kill him. You know what I mean? Slam him, kill
Yeah.
him. Hold him down, grind him, beat him up, submit him.
And I think as well, because you've got that high profile already, and then through the next year of jiu-jitsu tournaments, that's only going to rise. So it's gonna, I would imagine, give you a lot better opportunities in terms of MMA as well.
Right? Build my stock, increase my worth, hopefully sign with a big promotion like one that does the grappling and the MMA. I gotta,
Yeah.
maybe UFC, I get on that fight pass with one of these events, Polaris, or I see the UFC's into grappling now. That, I mean, all of these are opportunities. Anytime I compete and I'm in shape and I'm healthy, I put on a performance that is exciting. It's fan friendly and people tune in. So I just have to make that my top priority, which why I'm training myself and just focused on my grappling career as a professional. Finally done playing with this thing. You know what I mean? This whole, I'm 32 now too, so I'm on the shot clock.
Yeah, yeah, you are. It's I think you've got an advantage where you're that little bit heavier. The higher weight classes, you tend to have a bit of a longer career, so you've still got a fair amount of time left, you know?
Yeah, good point. I've never thought of that. The size has something to do with the career longevity, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, smaller weight classes, by the
Look at
time you get
Yoel
to
Romero.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's a great point. What is up with that?
yeah. And then for you, obviously, your most recent sort of like major appearance that people know you from is obviously CJI. You had that opening round match against Luke Rockhold, and I know that for a lot of people that was one of the obviously you had the crazy Ruotolo and Tackett match, but yours against Luke Rockhold was one of the sort of highlights from the first day. How did you find that match, that experience of competing on that major event for the first time?
Yeah, it was sick, man. Surreal. Just the hype up to it was like had me like giddy. Luke was one of the last ones there to arrive, and he's like, a cycle older than me. 6, 7, 8 years older than me. So it's like a guy I grew up when I'm in high school. He's probably the champ. So like I'm playing him as on the game. Me and my brother-in-law now, not at the time, but one of my high school best friends. We're playing, these matchups, and it's just surreal to a moment. You got to slap out of yourself to wake up out of it and be like, all right, this guy's not your idol. He's your rival right now, and you got to beat his. So, you know what I mean? And he's a big, formidable opponent too. I know he's got black belt, and he didn't look like he's with USADA anymore. So he looked like he was 230 on the scale. I think he was weighed in pretty big, biggest I've ever seen him. And, he's naturally tall. If you look at him and Hamzat, they're like similar. I was training with Hamzat a lot before a month, and him and he's very similar. So that couldn't have been a better training partner. Plus, I was down there with Wagner Rocha and Cyborg and Roosevelt and Achilles and Zhao and all the guys that fight sports and Wagner Rocha MMA. So I had great preparation. I was super confident, even though I was the underdog betting line and everybody was expecting, I guess, the I mean, I know a bunch of people. My buddy Matty Betts made like 15 grand on me because he couldn't believe I was the underdog. I was like, hell yeah, brother, we're about to smash this guy. I was very confident.
Yeah,
I was very confident going into it, and then I was super pleased with the result. And now knowing what I know now, I think I can definitely get the submission.
yeah, and I mean it was a good performance. It was from start to finish you were on fire really. I mean you landed multiple takedowns and you were really really high energy as well, which is for
Yeah,
my
I
perspective.
never got tired. Thank you. Yeah, 15 minutes of beatdowns.
I mean, from my perspective, like as a fan, that's the kind of thing that we like to see from wrestlers is, by all means use your skill set, but yeah,
Yep.
use it like high energy, taking the
Yeah.
takes from the start.
Don't be boring and just take them down and hold them. Slam them. I'll just throw them down, not even land on them, just so you can get back up. Then I can do it again. You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah.
fans like.
Yeah. And your next match then after Luke Rockhold was obviously Adam Bradley. How did
Hmm.
you find that as an experience? Because it couldn't have gone more differently, the
Oh, that was terrible. Yeah, that was the worst grappling experience of my life. Just getting held on and just being like laying there, feeling like I was dominating this guy, never feeling threatened, and then getting called the loser. It was just the most Twilight Zone experience in my life because I was just assuming it was going to be me and Nicky Rod. Like that would have been a way sicker match for the fans too. Like that was just, I guess they, that's their guy and stuff. And I don't know. I don't know. I got my theories. That shit. I'm still, oh man, I lost
yeah.
lost out on $1 million that day.
Yeah, of course. And I think you are right in the sense that a lot of people were looking forward to the match between you and Nicky Rod because obviously you've had that wrestler match before as well. Is that a
Yeah.
match that you would want to book again?
Yeah, I need that match because I got to see how this guy's able to get on top of me and submit me. Like I've never seen him take me down. He's never been on top of me, so I don't know how he does anything to me. So I gotta believe. I gotta see it to believe it. We're gonna get that match. He can run, he can hide, but it's gonna happen. We'll find
And I think I don't know if you've seen it, but Nicky Rod obviously beat Michael Pixley recently, and I think a lot of people coming into that were expecting Pixley to out wrestle him and outwork him on the feet, but he actually, even though Nicky Rod is obviously known as a good wrestler, he really like surprised quite a lot of people against Pixley.
He
Is
did.
that something that you noticed yourself, or did you not
What
really pay much
he
attention
was
to it?
surprised. Who was surprised? What did he do to Pixley that was surprising? He took him down.
Yeah, so I mean, I just mean the fact that he found the standing portion of the match not as difficult as people would have expected, because obviously Pixley is an amazing wrestler as well.
Well, I don't know, man. I wasn't surprised. I know Nicky. I mean, he trained with us at the NJRTC, and Pixley's tough, but I mean, he wasn't like a D1 guy or All-American or no U.S. Open. Like he's not like a world team member. Like there's levels. I didn't expect like him to like dominate Nicky Rod in wrestling by any means because I've trained with Nicky a lot. You know what I mean? And I have a pretty good understanding of everybody's level. And I know that there's like, now could Nicky Rod wrestle with me or Bo Nickel or David or Z or Snyder or Jaden? No. There's guys that there's a lot or Gable Stevenson. No, I can name a bunch. The guys like Nicky and Gordon don't want no parts of to wrestle on the feet with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I'll turn Nicky into a guard puller real quick, and we'll see him try to do his wrestle ups. Well, and it won't work. We'll see he doesn't have a good guard. I'll smash him in his guard. He pulls guard. And he won't want to
mm,
get stay on bottom. He won't want to get held down. He has to be the top player. That's his whole game. And once I destroy that from him, what's he gonna do? I don't know. I gotta see it. I gotta see it. That's a great match for me.
yeah, and I think as well with you having such a busy competition schedule, it's something that the more you win, the more like better performances you put on against people, the more people will be angling for that match, I think.
Yeah.
And that is the kind of thing as well that you mentioned, like UFC Fight Pass, One Championship, like major events like that.
Hmm.
That's the kind of match that those promotions will want to put on. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I go smash. I do well against Europe, and then I beat this Polaris champ, and I get a new contract with them. I think me and Nicky Rod as a super fight would be off the hook.
And is there anyone else that you're interested in facing as well? Or
Um, I like UFC guys. I'd like to grapple with some. Bo would be a sick match. For the fans too. I'd like that match. Bo and I could run it back on the grappling rule set. Um, who else? Who else is out there? Man, yeah, I had a whole little hit list too. I was looking at that ADC tournament. Yeah, that guy, Kanan Duarte, I think how you say.
yeah,
There's this Iranian guy that beat him too. I don't know if he's Iranian or from Dubai or India. He's like a beach wrestling champ, Puya. He's a hell
yeah,
of a
Puya
looking.
Ramani.
Yeah, Ramani. So there's some crazy ops out there. I'm calling out the best right now. So like, because that's the guys who get my attention.
Yeah.
No Diddy, but I want them all. I want all the smoke.
And you mentioned ADCC then, so obviously that was going down at the same time as CJI. Have you gone
Right.
back and rewatched that then?
Not like I need to. No, just in tape training with Monroe in the mornings, citing specific techniques and questions and positions. And he's my jujitsu guru that can actually, he's got the recall. Like, oh, that happened to Ryan Hall, Gary Tonin in 2016. I'm like, dude, how do you know these situations? Like, it's pretty incredible his recall ability with the jujitsu game and just his knowledge of it as a fan and a coach. But um, no, I need to watch it more in depth, but I just saw the results and stuff, and I kind of know, which guys are there to look out for, and which guys kind of, you know, there's about 10 guys out there, a few from there, and then a few of the other ones I named that
Yeah.
that I have to take out to really consider myself like the best.
Yeah. And I know you did have a go at ADCC trials quite a while ago, wasn't it? A couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Would you be interested in having another go at that now? Like, I mean,
yeah,
the next trials will be next year.
yeah. I'll go in the minus 99 kilogram.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And that'll be one of those things as well. If you manage to win a place at ADCC 2026, then that's another huge opportunity to sort of, make your name that much bigger. And
That's my goal. I want to compete in that 2026.
nice, nice. So I think for you then, you've got a nice like sort of game plan for the next couple of years then, if you're leading up towards, from a professional grappling point of view, getting to ADCC 26, and then
Yeah, I just got to get back down to South Florida. My girl and I, me and my dog, we're relocating. It's too cold up in here in Baltimore right now, and I need, it's good training here, but I got to get my guys at Fight Sports and Wagner's. I miss the grappling with the Brazilians, and it's just, it's just where I belong. I'm happiest in Florida. South Florida is my heart. It's warm, my body. It just feels way better down there.
yeah. And I think for a little while at least, you were the wrestling coach at Fight Sports, weren't you?
Yeah, I ran the wrestling program for 10 weeks for their ADCC camp. So,
Yeah,
so I would be back down there and maybe open up a PD3 grappling academy or something, maybe, or work with them, as one of the wrestling coaches, or I'm sure we'll figure that stuff out. But I just want to get situated, relocate, train full time, have them coaching and training partners, and be on the professional circuit.
yeah. That's probably pretty much everything I really wanted to go through with you, to be honest with you, Pat. Is
Yeah,
there
man.
anyone that you want to sort of give a shout out to, or anyone you want to like give thanks to, or anything like that?
No, man, just shout out to my fans and friends and my family, and my sponsors and everybody. It takes a village. So I appreciate everyone involved, and everybody they know who they are behind the scenes. But yeah, I appreciate you taking the time and asking me questions.
No worries at all, man. Well, thanks so much for your time, and take it easy, all right?
Yes, sir. Have a good one, buddy. Later.
Cheers.